date's wrong.
Oh, not to worry.
Good evening, and for my second show, which I didn't realise I had. Um, and all of a sudden, Pauline came on and said, "Are you supposed to be doing the show with me?" And we checked our diary. No, and all of a sudden, she probably forgotten my wife, but never mind. Pauline, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
I'm okay. Yeah. Um, we heard today that we're allowed to. Everything's okay. From the government now. So, are you enjoying getting out, or are you still a bit unsure?
Well, I've been out and about, but still
Hmm.
a wee bit. We're being told to be a wee bit cautious up here. I mean, a lot of our restrictions have gone, but we're still being a bit careful. Um, but yeah, I'd been out and about last week because I was actually scheduled for last week, if you remember. But then
Yeah.
I had a show at the Edinburgh Fringe for 3 nights, and so I was kind of like semi cautious because I wanted to do a show at the Fringe, but I didn't want to do a full run. I thought doing it for like 2 or 3 weeks, night after night, in a venue didn't seem
Yeah.
quite right. So I just did 3 nights. So we are out and about, but still been a wee bit cautious.
Yeah. What was the Edinburgh Fringe like to
It was
do?
really good. Well, this time last week it was just the start of it. It only started, so it was yeah, a bit of a quiet start, and a lot of people I think weren't sure at the beginning that it would be going ahead. And obviously there's not the tourists that usually Edinburgh is just crazy busy this time of year. You can hardly move. So it was just quite nicely busy, but not too bad. And folk were just so glad that there were shows on, that they were very supportive. So it was actually a really nice experience. I did my show for 3 nights, and yeah, I loved it. So it was good fun.
And did you stay up there like was it in a tent or was it like
Well, I
hotel?
actually don't know many campsites in Edinburgh, and hotels are a bit expensive. It was a friend of my sister's who
All
put us
right.
up for 3 nights. So we did. I mean, I could have travelled. It's possible to travel through from here, but it's a bit of a boring journey. So yeah, so I stayed through for 3 nights. It was really nice. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And the trouble is with Edinburgh, that is one city that is worth going to have a look around, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I,
it's
I,
very
I love it.
picturesque.
I love
Yes,
Edinburgh. I love Edinburgh.
it's
Me and
lovely.
my
Yeah.
me and my wife had a lovely meal there downstairs underneath, and they got it was a square part. I can't remember, and all I can all because it was raining that day, and these big steps you had to climb these big steps to
Mm.
get to this big building type thing. I can't remember on the square part.
Oh, I wonder. I'm not sure where that would have been.
Yeah,
The square part. Do you mean the new town where it's all laid out like squares? Is that where you mean?
that's it.
Mm,
Yeah, new part. Yeah.
I'm not
So
sure.
yeah, but we went there and we went to a nice restaurant there. Really enjoyed ourselves. Anyway, so what? So you went to the Edinburgh Fringe, and
I did.
was it a lot of people there?
Well, it was just beginning to pick up. I mean, I was there the very first night, and the venue that I was playing in had been closed for 18 months, so it literally just opened its doors. So it was it was taking a while to build up. The first night was quiet, and then it was getting busier once the word got around. I think by now, by this is the second week of it now, so I would imagine by now it's probably getting busier, but not because we've not got all the international tourists. It's not going to be as I mean, the Edinburgh usually at this time of year is so crazy busy, can hardly move. So it's just quite nicely busy. There's people around, and they're glad that there's events happening, but it's not too busy. So it's just quite a nicely busy this year. Yes. So there's
Okay.
people there.
And can you play something for us? We love
Yeah,
listening to some of your
I kept
music.
changing my mind what I was going to do. I think since I've been talking about Edinburgh show, I might actually do one of the songs from it because I'm pretty sure I haven't made a note of all the songs I've done in your shows over the months, so I probably will repeat myself. But I'm pretty sure I haven't done this one. So
Oh,
this
we
is
used
from
to.
my show. My show was called What the Brontes Did at Fringe. So it was a bit of a light-hearted look at what the Bronte sisters, who wrote Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights, etc., what they would have done at the actual Edinburgh Fringe. But it was also a wee bit sad because their story is quite sad. But this isn't a sad song particularly. It's called The World's a Gift, and it was part of the show. So I'll do this for you now. Here we go.
Brilliant.
The river running, falling down the hill, the misty landscape keeping very still, the mountain rising, reaching for the sky, the eagle soaring, soaring oh so high. The world's a gift. If it was mine, I'd give it all to you. The forest breathing deep inside its core, the ocean laughing, laughing on the shore, the storm that rages passing into calm. They speak to me, remind me who I am. The world's a gift. If it was mine, I'd give it all to you. If I had strength, I'd keep the wolves at bay. If I had songs, I'd sing to you all day. If I had fire, I'd keep you warm at night. And if I could, I'd keep you in my sight. I swear it's true. The world's a gift. If it was mine, I'd give it all to you.
Beautiful song. Really good.
Thank you.
Which did you get the idea from that song?
Oh, good question. Well, I actually wrote it when I was in Australia about a year and a half ago, or maybe more than that. I was there on tour, and I'd just been for a walk through a kind of rainforest, which was actually a living, breathing forest. It was really, really noisy, and I was just sitting there in the evening, and I just wrote that song. But I thought I'd put it into the Bronte show because there's a bit where Charlotte Bronte meets her husband, and I just put that into the show. So I didn't write it with the show in mind, but I just added it in
Yeah.
afterwards. So I wrote it in Australia after wandering around a rainforest. That's where it came.
Why the Bronte show?
The Brontes, well, the Bronte sisters, Charlotte, Emily, and Anne. Charlotte
Yeah.
Bronte wrote Jane Eyre. Emily Bronte wrote Wuthering Heights. Anne Bronte wrote The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, etc. And I've just been a fan of their books for years, and I visited the Bronte parsonage in Haworth in Yorkshire, and that's where they lived and worked. And so after visiting that, I wrote another song about them. And then I just thought about developing it into a fringe show. I just thought, well, it'd be quite funny to think about what they would do if they were actually at the fringe, wandering the streets of Edinburgh in this day and age, even though they lived, 200, 150 years ago. I just thought, well, it would be quite funny to think about them at the Fringe. So yeah, so the idea just came from there, and I sat in a cafe writing the words. I scripted it. It's the first scripted show I've ever done. I usually just write songs, but this was an actual scripted show with a story, and I just thought it would be good to do for the Fringe. So that's where the idea came from. And then I finally got the chance to do it, because obviously it didn't happen last year because everything just didn't happen. And so I finally got to do it last week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I was delighted.
Great. How would you like people in, say, like in 100 years to remember you?
How would I like? Oh, sorry, could you say that again? Sorry, could
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ask me again?
Sorry, yeah. So, how would you like people to remember you in around about 100 years' time?
Oh my goodness. Well, I would be delighted if they did remember me. Let's face it, that would be amazing. I don't know. As somebody that wrote some good songs, I would hope my songs would be remembered. That's maybe about it. Maybe for being an entertainer. But yes, I would just like to hope that my songs might be remembered and that people might still sing them. But who knows?
Yeah, sure. Have you got another song for us?
I have indeed. Yes. Now sing my song about kind of cafe culture. I'm not sure if I've sung it here before, because I stupidly didn't write down all the
Do not worry. We love
songs.
listening to all your
Oh,
songs.
good. So
We don't
this song is
care.
good. This song's a wee bit connected because it mentions sitting in a cafe writing. Well, in the song it mentions somebody sitting in the cafe writing a novel. But what I actually did a year and a half ago was I sat in the cafe writing my Bronte show. So this is my kind of song about cafe culture, which we've obviously missed for quite a while, but now is back, which is good. I especially like all the outdoor spaces that cafes have at the moment. I quite like that. So anyway, so this is my song about cafes, and it's called In Among the Teacups. Tear-soaked tissues lie piled up beside the plate, surrounded by the food they never ate, delivering a bombshell along with soup and toast. Her world had crumbled, and now she's lost among the teacups and the formica tabletops. The laptop keys are clattering, her fingers moving fast. The novel's taking shape, she'll say if she is asked. She has no idea which words will stay or go, but she'll always remember it started there among the teacups and the formica tabletops. All life is there in among the tea and coffee. It's all played out among the crumbs and the steam. Trying not to listen to the nearest conversation, and finding out what's on the surface is never what it seems. In among the teacups. Mavis and Suzanne, they meet here every week, telling of their fears, the things they daren't speak to anyone else as they share a rich cream scone. What would they do without the chatter in among the teacups and the formica tabletops? Gavin's all dressed up, his best suit and tie, prepared as best he can, although his mouth is dry. This could be his boss, who's offering to pour before she starts the interview. there among the teacups and the formica tabletops. All life is there in among the tea and coffee. It's all played out among the crumbs and the steam. Trying not to listen to the nearest conversation, and finding out what's on the surface is never what it seems. In among the teacups. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. In among the teacups. La 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 la.
Brilliant, very good.
Thank you.
Brilliant. With the Edinburgh Fringe, do you how many singers on, or was it just you, or what happens?
Well, my show, it was just me. It was a one-woman show, so it was just me. I was singing songs and doing some kind of story in between. So it was the show lasted about 45 minutes, I think. And yes, it was just me on that show. Yes.
Right. Did you have a lot of people come and see you?
And some, as I say, I'd started on the very first day of the Fringe, so it was there weren't that many people around, and the venue had just opened, so people weren't sure what was open and what wasn't. So I didn't have very many the first night, but I had quite a lot. The second and third night, yes, I had quite a lot. I was really pleased. So yeah,
Brilliant,
delighted.
brilliant. So do you have to kind of like pay for the venues yourself, or do they kind of like invite you to come along?
Well, the Fringe operates in all sorts of different ways. Most of the Fringe venues, you have to pay for the venue and hope that you make some of the money back. A lot of the time you don't. But what I did this year, and I also did it 2 years ago, was there's a thing called the PBH Free Fringe, and that's set up so that there's nothing, the performers aren't charged at all. So you don't pay anything for the venue. You don't sell tickets for it either. What you do is you put out a kind of bucket or something at the end, and people contribute toward, if they want to. So it's actually quite good because you're not paying up front. It's very good for performers. It's very supportive. I mean, you have to do it all yourself. There's nobody, there's no kind of background staff or sound people. They do, there is a sound system, but basically it's the venue you have to set up, which is fine. That's what you would do anyway. But the great thing is you're not charged for it. So if people contribute to your bucket at the end of the show, then you're in profit. It's really, really good. So it's PBH Free Fringe, and it's completely free for performers. Very good.
Good. That's good to know, just in case if people go up there, because sometimes they do charge some fees, don't they? Really?
Oh, they do. No, it can be quite expensive, and most people, you don't make a profit at the Fringe, but at least with the Free Fringe, you have the chance of making some profit. So it's good. It's very good.
Really good, yeah. And how do people? Because because you play like the harp and everything. How do people kind of like relate to you? Did they like you? Did they like your music?
Yeah, they did. People said at the end that they really liked it, and obviously that this particular one was, it was music and a story, and that they seemed to like it. I had people along who came because it was a show about the Brontes and they knew a bit about them, so they said they liked it, and other people came for other reasons and they liked it as well. So yeah, they seem to like the music and the mixture of story and music. So yeah, so I hope to get the chance to do the show again sometime now that I've worked it up and I know what I'm doing.
And so, what would you do better now? What you didn't do last time
in the show? Oh,
yeah.
Well, I felt by the Wednesday I'd go to the very first night. It was a bit clunky because I had there's a couple of elements to the show. There's a bit where I had to coordinate with I was playing what had been a Zoom call, so I was playing that on my laptop. So the first night that was a wee bit clunky, but by the Wednesday night I had it pretty good actually. I don't know if I would change much from what I did come the third night, because I felt I had it kind of off pat by then, so I was quite pleased. Yeah.
And if people, if people say, why don't you try another musical instrument, would you
If people say what? Sorry, I missed that.
try another musical instrument? Would you?
Would I try another musical
Yeah,
instrument?
yeah,
Well, I mean, I have done in the past. I mean, I started off on the piano, I played the violin briefly. I'm not so great at either of those. I do play the flute, which I really enjoy, so I like that. It depends what it is. I'm
yeah,
not one of those that I know there's some. My daughter is one actually. She can sit. She'll play any instrument. You just hand her an instrument and she'll give it a go. I'm not so much for that. I would rather like concentrate on a few things. So I
yeah.
really enjoy playing the harp. I mean,
Of course you
it would
do.
depend
Yeah,
what it was. If somebody handed me something and I thought I could do something with it, then maybe. If it was something starting from scratch, then maybe not so much. I'm not sure.
yeah. It was just a question that just came
Yeah,
popped up,
it's a good
and
question.
don't change because I like your harp playing. Have you
Oh,
got
thank
another
you.
song for us?
I have. I wonder if I should do a wee bit of nonsense, just for fun. Yes, I think I
Go
maybe
on,
will.
carry on, go on.
Hmm. No, I should know that. Get this off by heart. Right, hold on. I'm actually playing at a festival next weekend, and I'm trying to learn everything off by heart. But I'm just going to put the words up just because, just to be on the safe side. I do kind of know them, but I'm going to put them up anyway, um, just in case. But I should know them. So this is one of my one songs to the tune of another, which is a bit of nonsense. And I videoed the fringe, as well as having the actual fringe. They've got a virtual fringe, so I put in a show of songs to the tune of another in the virtual free fringe. If anybody wants to search for that. Anyway, so I'll do this one. I'll not tell you what it is. You can tell me at the end what you think the words are and the tune. So here we go. She came from Greece with a thirst for knowledge, studied sculpture at St. Martin's College. That's where I caught her eye, and then she told me that her dad was loaded. I said, I'll have a rum and cola. She said, fine, and then in 30 seconds she said, I wanna live like common people, wanna do what common people do, wanna sleep with common people like you. What else could I do? I said, I'll see what I can do. I took her to a supermarket, I don't know why. I had to start it somewhere, so it started there. I said, pretend you've got no money. She laughed and said, you're so funny. I said, I can't see anyone smiling, but she didn't understand. She just smiled and held my hand. You wanna live like common people, wanna do what common people do, wanna sleep with common people like me. Rent a flat above a shop, cut your hair and get a job, smoke some fags, pretend that you never went to school. Still you'll never get it right, 'cause when you're laid in bed at night, watching roaches climb the wall, your dad could stop it all. You will never understand how it feels to live your life with no meaning or control and nowhere left to go. You'll never live like common people, never do what common people do, never fail like common people, watch your life slide out of you and then dance and drink and screw, 'cause there's nothing else to do. Everybody hates a tourist who thinks it's such a laugh. You'll never live like common people, never do what common people do, never fail like common people, watch your life slide out of you and then dance and drink and screw, 'cause there's nothing else to do. Everybody hates a tourist who thinks it's such a laugh. And chip stains grease will come off in the bath.
Well, I had in the beginning I had Drunken Sailor, but it wasn't. It was a well-known Scottish song,
Yep.
but I just can't get my thinking cap on about it. I know that you can clap to it, and they do it. They play at the military tattoo, in
They do. They
Edinburgh.
do. Yeah. Did you get the words at all? Do you know what
Yeah,
the
some
words
of the
are?
words. Yeah, yeah.
But do you know what song the words are from? No.
I'm trying to make the song. I'm trying to get the song.
Well,
Oh,
the words are from one song and the tune's from a different song.
right. I'm just
Okay. Well,
trying. Go on, go on.
okay. Right. The words were "Common People" by Pulp,
Oh, yes,
and
that's it.
yeah, and the tune was "Scotland the Brave."
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
I knew it was a Scotland song. Yes, because they always do it at the tattoo, don't they? Sing it at the tattoo.
Probably, yes. I'm
Yeah,
sure
they
they do.
do.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's the trouble is though. Do you feel with like Scottish music and with like the bagpipes and everything else, what all what Scotland has? Do you
Mhm.
think Scotland play better music than us lot in the UK? Because sometimes the music can be different on different
Yeah.
musical items, can it?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a tricky question. I don't know if I would say better. It is different. Scottish folk songs tend to be a wee bit different. I mean, I like a mixture of stuff. So, I mean, obviously, the Scottish music has a real heart to it, which I really like.
Yeah,
But there's also some really good stuff down in England as well. They tend to like more singer-songwritery type stuff in the on the folk scene. So I like that as well. I also like
yeah,
Irish music. My mother's family were from Ireland, so I like a lot of that. It's all a wee bit different, so I couldn't say one's better than anything else. It's just a matter of personal taste, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And what do you think of today's music?
Ooh, tricky
Mm,
question. Um, well, it depends. I mean, I don't really listen to like pop charts, etc., that kind of thing. Um, so I don't feel I could answer on that. That's a bit tricky. But there's just a lot. There is a lot of good music happening just now.
yeah,
I mean, I think it's kind of different. There's a lot of really good music happening that it's never maybe going to reach
yeah,
the
yeah.
national airwaves or anything like that. But
So
there's a lot of good stuff happening.
what did you think of like the 50s, 60s, 70s music then? Were you into that when you were younger?
Yeah, some of it. 50s not so much. 60s some of the 70s. Actually, I was really into 80s music. Actually, I know that's maybe not Imagine there was some great music in the 80s, so that's
Yeah, of
probably
course
the
it
era
was.
that I relate
I,
most to. Yeah,
yeah, I was at school. I was at secondary school in the 80s, and the music was really good. I remember Adam the Ants and Spandau Ballet and Boys.
Eurythmics,
Yeah,
Prince, all these folk.
yeah,
Yeah, it's all good.
yeah. Michael Jackson. All
Michael
sorts.
Jackson. Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely good Pretenders. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's really good. But do you find when you're playing the harp that sometimes there are moments where it's difficult to play certain songs, or are you kind of like comfortable singing any song at all?
Well, probably during lockdown because I've been doing a lot of these songs to the tune of another, and I've really covered all sorts of different styles. I'd probably have a go at most things now. I maybe wouldn't have before, but during lockdown, I certainly have. So yes, so I probably would turn my hand to most things. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's just the questions that we got on here that
That's fine. Yeah.
people are asking. Yeah. What else is? What else is? What have you got next coming up? What are you doing next for any festivals, concerts? What are you doing?
Okay. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I'm taking part in the virtual Irvine Mirimus Festival. It's a local festival, and I'm going into they've got a temporary TV studio, so I'm going to go in and play a few songs there, which is good. But my big excitement is this coming weekend. I'm playing at a folk festival called the Moira Furnace Folk Festival, which is in a village called Moira, which is in Leicestershire. So I'm travelling down there for the weekend, and I'm playing two spots there. So it's an outdoor festival, which is why it's going ahead. And it'll be quite safe. Everybody will be outside. So that's going to be really exciting. So yes, I'm playing at a festival this weekend. So that's great,
Is that
exciting.
a tent? Is that a tent job for you, or is it you're staying at your friends?
No, I'll take a tent this time.
Tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like? What's
Festival
it
day.
like? What's it like? Because I've never been to a festival. What's it actually like to sleep in a tent at a festival? Because it can be really noisy sometimes, can it?
But I suppose, I mean, the festivals I go to are not, I don't go to the huge big ones. So this one, it's a folk festival. So most folk that go will be probably slightly older. So it's not going to be that mad. They're not going to be partying all night or anything like that. So it's okay. I like sleeping in a tent. I quite like it. I like the connection with the outdoors, and I quite like that. So I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's yeah, you just get used to it, and as long as you're comfy enough, and as long as you have a good sleeping bag, then you're usually fine.
Great, great. And a hot water bottle. That's what you need sometimes. A nice hot water bottle.
I've got a really good. Honestly, with the sleeping bag I've got, you don't need any hot water bottles. You get too hot. It's a great sleeping bag. That's what you need.
Good, good. Can you play us? Can you play us the last song, please?
I can indeed. Okay, yeah, I think I'll do the title track from the album that we brought out 3 or 4 months ago. The album Blue Leaves. I'll do the title track from that, and it's still available on all the usual channels: Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, etc. Yes, so it's called Blue Leaves, and here we go.
Thank you.
And thanks for having me.
That's okay. Anytime.
The seasons all come and go, the changing colors, changing hues. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you. Summer will bring flowers, the sun will come shining through. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you. Your fragrance still lingers here, each breath a whiff of morning dew. The birds will serenade us, but this year only sing the blues. Spring will mess with cherry trees, bursting blossom buds in bloom. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Your fragrance still lingers here, each breath a whiff of morning dew. The birds will serenade us, but this year only sing the blues. Winter undresses trees, naked branches come to view. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you. The seasons all come and go, the changing colors, changing hues. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you.
Beautiful. Really nice.
Thank you.
That is really, really good. I just love your music. It's really kind of like, what can you say? It's like you're in this forest, and all of a sudden you can just listen to your music, and while it's kind of like beaming out into the forest. Really,
Oh,
really, really good. Thank you
oh,
so
thank you.
much,
Thank you for
Pauline.
having me. Thank you. No worries. Anytime.
See you soon. Bye bye.
See you soon. Okay. Cheers, Steve. Bye. See you soon.
Bye. Bye.